everyone, and welcome to the Mompreneurs and Heals podcast. Today, I have a special guest with me. Her name is Lauren Nelson, and she's a traditional naturopath specializing in blood work. She became a blood work specialist after years of dealing with her own health issues. And doctors just kept telling her she was healthy and to lower her stress. But she owns Medela Healing, and she's helped hundreds of clients get answers to their health struggles by teaching them how to transform their normal labs into answers, hope, and healing. So welcome, Lauren. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so glad that we're going to talk about this topic today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and speaking with you.
Wonderful. Well, on this show, we talk to mompreneurs about life balance, about business entrepreneurship, but the most important thing is health and self-care. We have to take care of ourselves in order to properly run our business and to be able to do all the many billions of things that we have to do. So we need to hear from you because you have experience in traditional naturopath. And I'm definitely interested in that. So can you tell us your story? Tell us how you became interested in becoming a health consultant and a naturopath.
Yes. So I think like many of my fellow coworkers in this field, we got started because we had our own health struggles. And I go back, I'm 34 now, and I started feeling unwell when I was about 16. And I'd go to the doctors and they'd be like, "You're a teenager, you're fine. Maybe you had, some tests that were stressing you out. Like, get out of here. You'll be fine. Just go be a kid." And then I got in my 20s and I was getting worse. I mean, I was getting my stomach hurt. I was fatigued, and I kept going to the doctors and saying something is not right. And they'll say, "Okay, maybe you have depression or anxiety." And I'm like, I know my body and there's no shame against either of those, but something else is wrong. So then I started going to see my naturopaths. And while they were giving me, some clues to my health issues, I'd leave with spending thousands of dollars in supplements, and I still wasn't feeling well. It was like I wasn't getting any answers. So I decided, all right, the stuff is interesting for me because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. I mean, I was getting to the point where I couldn't even work. I was mostly housebound, at some points even bed bound. And so I just became my own research advocate and was like, I have to figure this out. Like I'm a young woman and I'm losing my life.
Right.
And about then, so I started kind of figuring things out. And about at that same time, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And I'm like, all right, Mom, like I've been researching some things, like, let me figure this out. So at that point, I was starting to feel better. And I decided I'm just going to go back to school and I'm going to figure out both of us. And then if I can figure out both of us, then I can help others. And so I went back to school, I got my degree, and I learned how to read functional blood work. And that's where I started getting answers. And it's amazing. You go to the doctor and when they say, we'll take some blood work, these basic blood work markers that every doctor takes, there's so many answers in them. And it's like, I had these answers all along. Like, this is crazy. And then I looked at my mom's and I'm like, oh, wow. Like I could see the trends and the patterns of where she started to get sick. And so I started putting us on different protocols. I started getting better. Since with stage 4, you don't ever get to be in remission, but she's quite a few years out and we still have her stable. So
that's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. So it's like, there's so many answers in functional blood work that, we're just missing. Yeah. And so it really has become my life passion to not let anyone go through what I've gone through or what happened to my mom. Like if we can prevent anything like that, and just be able to help these mostly women out there. A lot of I would say 90% of my clients are women, because I think we get dismissed pretty easily when we go to the doctor.
We do. Well, prevention is everything. And you were saying how the answers are there in the blood work in the labs. Mm-hmm. So explain to us a little bit more about that. How does that work? What exactly how do you tell what's going on by looking at the blood work, and what do you do for your clients?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So the lab range that we have today, we'll use the white blood cell count just as an example. The range that we have today, if you were to go to your doctor and they say, all right, we're going to take your WBC, white blood cell count. Mm-hmm. The range now is from 3 to 11. In 2005, the range was 5 to 10. So anytime you were outside of the range in 2005 from 5 to 10, they'd be like, oh, something's wrong.
Right.
If you look back in the 50s, our range was from 5 to 8. So anytime you were outside of that range, they'd be like, all right, something's off here. But now, based on statistics, because our population is getting sicker, our ranges are getting wider. Wow. And so you've got to basically be like, comatose if something were to come up, because if your white blood cell count is at a 3, which in today's markers would be considered normal, you would not be feeling anywhere close to normal. So I've been able to take the ranges of a lot of these basic blood work and go back in time and look at, okay, where were we? What do these markers mean? And how can I have my clients get back to that ideal optimal health that many of us just aren't experiencing anymore?
Right. Well, I have my own story with blood work and getting lab work for anemia and all kinds of issues. And my white blood cells were pretty low at one point. And so, I don't know what the range is supposed to be, higher or lower, but it was off. Yeah. And I could feel that. And even though it wasn't off by a lot, I felt a huge difference when things started getting better. But it's about taking matters into your own hands sometimes. And so I love what you're doing for your clients. You're helping them to be able to do that. So can you speak just a little bit about the importance of business moms in taking care of ourselves daily? Because a lot of times we help other people and we put everyone else first, but we put ourselves on the back burner. And I know that we do get we get our annual exams and we do all the things we're supposed to do. But when it comes to really the upkeep of our health on a daily basis, can you share just more about how we can just focus more on that and take better care of ourselves?
It's funny, as women, we really keep the house up, right? Like we are doing it all, especially as entrepreneurs. It's like, you get up, you get the kids off to school, you come back, you run your business, you grab them from school. We are doing it all. And it's so easy to chalk up these little symptoms like, I feel really tired after I eat lunch. Yeah. Like, I just got some bloating, or, I've got some aches. I'm just getting older. And it's like these little symptoms as we age really end up being bigger symptoms as we go on. And if we keep dismissing just these little, I'm losing my hair, or I'm feeling a little swollen, or whatever your symptom may be, it's so easy as women to just chalk it up to, I'm a tired mom.
Tired.
I'm stressed,
Right.
And while, yes, that may be true, we are all tired especially if you've got a newborn and you're not sleeping, of course. Yeah. But there are things that we want to make sure that we need to be able to keep track of, and so that we don't run into issues later on down the road when, you've got your business up and running and you're successful and your kids are a little bit older. And now those little symptoms have turned into big symptoms and you've got a whole big issue that you've got to face. So it's really just tuning into your body and learning those little nuances of yourself to make sure that further along, you're not running into the bigger issues.
Right. So is teaching your clients how to read their lab work part of what you do?
Definitely. So every time I meet with one of my clients, especially initially, so I'll spend 1 to 2 hours before we even meet going over your blood history. So I'll have my clients send me their results from 10 years ago. I say, it doesn't matter. Whenever you started to not feel good, get them to me so I can start looking at your trends. And so I'll spend a couple hours ahead of time. I'll get it all in a document. And then I meet with my clients and then we go through each marker and go, okay, this is what this means. If it's low, this is what I'm thinking. If it's high, this is what I'm thinking. And then we go and I put a protocol together and then we work, I really try and get my clients to not have to rely on me. So it's like, we'll work together for a few months, 6 months, you're probably feeling good. But as you go down the line, you probably hopefully won't need me because you'll learn how to read your blood work. That's and awesome. You'll be feeling good. So it's like, we'll get you back on that straight and narrow.
Yes. I love that you're helping clients to be able to take this for themselves and run with it. And that you're supporting them to be independent in this, so they're able to take care of themselves. Right. And that's beautiful. I mean, that's the best way to help each other, is to say, here's how you can take this information, apply it to your life, and put it into practice, so it becomes a part of your everyday habits. So
exactly. I have so many clients that have Hashimoto's, that it's a thyroid condition. And I'm like, all right, we're going to put you on a plan. But if you start going through a stressful period in your life where you start feeling that autoimmune flare, you start getting your old symptoms back, this is going to be your little protocol of what you're going to do to pull out your, that emergency kit. Yes. And to get you back on track. I, going through the experience with myself and my mom, it's so expensive. If you go to the regular doctor, you get your blood tests, you have to hit your deductible, then you see, the acupuncturist, the naturopath, like it all adds up, and it's like so expensive. And my heart goes out to everyone because I've been there. I mean, I have been there. And so if I can teach my clients how to be the best version of themselves and get healthy and prevent any issues, then that's really the big win.
That's awesome. So, okay. So you've been running your business, and you're helping people to feel better and to be able to understand how to read their blood work and take better care of themselves. What are some of your challenges in running your business from a business perspective? Because I know you love what you do, but there's always, all of the daily grind of business. And how are you able to balance, I guess? And what are some of your challenges?
Yeah, no, I think every woman that's listening to this can relate, because you got into business because you have a passion to do whatever you're doing. So you're like, all right, I love helping people. I love this blood work. But then you don't realize that there's like a million other things that go into being successful so you can do your passion. I have, thank goodness, learned to love all those sides of entrepreneurship. But I think my biggest struggle is switching my brains. So like, I'll get into my bookkeeping, and then I'm like, okay, I've got a client at 2:00. And so to like change my brain from the bookkeeping to it's.
I understand that completely. Yeah. Turn off one segment of your brain to turn on another.
Exactly. And with wellness, there is an art to it too. I mean, I'm really into the science, but there's also an emotional aspect that I want to be able to talk to all my clients about, and to be able to connect with them on that level too. And so it's like, okay, it's real. I've found myself, if I can center myself before each task and kind of like take that moment, regather myself, and be able to go on to whatever I need to do next, has been my key to success. But it's not easy. It's not.
Absolutely not. But you have methods that you use to make it a little bit easier. So that's good. Centering yourself. And then what are some of your successes? Like, what are some things that you feel that you really enjoyed the most in your business?
I love when someone comes to me and they're like, okay, I've seen so many people. Like I'm at my wit's end. What can you do for me? And kind of like when they're like a little bit like, I've tried it all. Like, what do you got? Right. And then a couple of months later, they're email me, oh my gosh, I just went for a run for the first time in over a year. Or my doctor told me that, I just had the baby, and I'm just a tired new mom. And all of a sudden, and I was having depressive and anxious thoughts. And now I'm like back in, connecting with myself again. It's those wins where people just feel dismissed and like there's no hope. And then when I give them hope, and then I pull through and give them some answers, and they actually do start seeing results, is when I'm like, Yes, because that's why I got into this. I didn't have hope for so many years, and neither did my mom. And, I'm here today running a business, alive, healthy, well, and I just can't wait for my clients to get on board and have that same feeling.
That is so amazing. You're definitely passionate about what you do, about helping people. I can hear that in your voice, and just how you got into this business to begin with is definitely, I can see that your story has so much to do with why you're doing what you're doing, and you're helping a lot of people, and that's what we're supposed to be doing in business, is helping others, and so that's awesome. I want to know what you have going on in your business right now, any events you have, or anything that you'd like to share with our listeners so they can get in touch with you and find out how they can get healthy with you.
Absolutely. So I have a website. My website is Medela Healing. That's M as in mom, Edella. It's Latin for healing. So Medela Healing. And when you go to my website, there's a free blood work download. So you can get started and pull your blood work and then compare it to my numbers. And so you can start getting some free answers just by going to the website. I also have on my store, once you find those answers on your blood work, you can go and just get the supplements that I recommend. I also see clients one-on-one, so you can schedule an appointment with me through my website. And I really just like to be able to work one-on-one with everyone, because there's so much that goes into us. We're mind, body, spirit beings, and being able to connect with my clients. So through that, but definitely get started through the free blood work guide, because that can be really helpful and get so many answers. Like when you were talking about your anemia.
Yes.
It's just, you get your iron up, you're a different person. And
absolutely. Yes. And so we need to know these things. Sometimes we don't know where to start. We don't know what to look for. So that's where you come in, Lauren. That's where you help us figure out, like, what does this mean? What do these numbers mean? And how can I get better? And, it's wonderful what you're doing. So I'm really happy to talk with you today about all of this. And tell us one more time your URL, so we make sure that we know where to go to find you.
Yes. So my website is www.medelahealing, M as in mom, E, D as in dog, ELLA, healing.com. And you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at Medela Healing as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us today. We had such a wonderful conversation. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much.